So for this lab, and in general, just hopefully if you have any questions and any parts that are unclear, these are the learning areas, learning topics. So this complex survey form is really interesting, because if you read this pull request that I made, basically to submit more than one choices for this question, right? How you parse that is not simple. Compared to this guy, it's just one choice. So it's important to analyze this data structure that gets submitted. So I explained. Now we handle that as this nested structure. And when we do that, do you guys see this one? So as you work with form, or if you this one, when you first write it, it probably doesn't make sense, right? But if you try, you will have an idea over time. At first, when I wrote it, I thought there's only one bracket, but then technically you need two, so you can have this kind of structure. So and then there's just a bit of bootstrap styling, but then it gives you this kind of structure when you submit a form. So question ID, choice ID, and all of that will go into an array, into a hash, right? Into a hash here, and then these hashes will be put in an array. That's why you have this. Okay. So this is HTML and Rails, working together. Rails can parse that structure, and when you do this, it submit to the server all this. The browser submit to the server, right? All the server will have to handle similar things. If you look at very advanced survey website, they generate some token in each one of these. It's just the same idea. But yeah, so this pull request hopefully give you some interesting stuff about complex form, because we're nesting different structure, and we're not using Rails except nested attributes. We parse it ourselves, which is very clear. You look at my let's see, the form object, right? So it's just, actually I didn't have to change anything. So with the previous one, we have the response form, right? And then in response form, we pretend we have a response has many questions, so it's just a question form. And then let me just quickly explain the response form. Let's make it bigger. Okay. So what we did is response form just have some attribute. Whereas no survey form that's created. Okay, response form, yeah. And here's your response form. And you're already familiar with it. It says there's a property, but in our response form there's nothing to save except the survey ID, right? When you create a response, it's just an empty an object with maybe an IP address and then a survey ID. And then what I do here is, in each response form I have response questions, but I don't like using this form object because I'm not saving the question, so I just save that to a plain Ruby object. So that's response question. This plain or Ruby object, what does it do? It take care of it still handles the similar pre-fill concept, but it take care of this if you look at this guy, structure. When you submit a response form handle this hash, right? And in that hash, you let questions, a list of question here. Notice this is question 1, 2, 3, 4. There's an ID. So question take care of that. So each of this hash, question form handle it. But now for this lab, you don't need to understand that, yeah. So you already know this lab. We're gonna do the extra stuff here. But yeah. So this is question form. If you make a pull request for more features, that I just want to make sure you understand this one. and then we wrap in each question with just more answers. That's all. It's quite outside that, and it's easy to write tests for it. That's all it is. And when you save a form, you see, I just go to each attributes questions. Look at this guy again. This one, right, is this. I'm just handling this, and when I write, it's very clear. You guys can read this in this, my progress explained. I handle the structure, but you see, I submit respond hash. In here is attributes, so maybe you call it params. In here you save, go through each question, right? In each question I have this index, which is the key of the question, the ID of the question, and then the hash, which is here. Maybe it's better name it as like question ID, and this is answers hash, right? Question answers, maybe like that. So yeah, so and so in each let me put it back. Okay, in each answers, just because for each question you can submit more than one answers, mainly because of the multiple choice, the checkbox. But all the other question types, it's okay. There's only one. There's only one choice answer. In the future, you may have a survey that take more than one, text field. Who knows? You can support all of that. Who knows? You can have more than one of these short answer text. 1, 2, 3. Like enter 3 words that come to your mind. That kind of question, this can support. This is very versatile. So yeah, so go through each answer. You see, then I remove the ID from it, right? Or if there's no ID, then I create a new one. So then I just create answers. It's super simple. And if you want this all of this to roll back, do you guys know how to roll back if there's any error? This does the saving, right? And this does the saving. This save the answer, and this save the ID of the answers. You can actually put that in. This is in the response transaction. You probably do this in TinyPulse code sometimes. You can grab it in transaction. So you read this one, it's like, oh, okay, now all this hash makes sense, and you handle strong parameters yourself here if you want. There's nothing that's too crazy here. So strong parameter doesn't matter for objects like this. It's only matter for like user and all this more complex object. Okay, so that's okay, right? So let's do the lab today. For this one, the goal is that you can display, let's say if you have 1,000,000 records and you render something like this, can you guys handle the performance and display that chart? So, but before we do that, let's just build this together. You guys can clone my repo. Check out, this is your own to start, but make sure you update to master branch. Okay, let's do it now, and I'll put a timer. I give you guys okay, test creating a survey and report box. You should be able to take any survey like this, right? With our projector is too bright. That's I can't make it work here, but you can see all the check boxes. Okay, ask me if you have any questions. Let me know when you finish milestone 1. Please create one, create a fun one, and I can copy yours. So this is mine. My survey is what Pokemon you want to hunt.